I suppose you could call this video a video for the sake of making a video. I don't know if that'll work in the title very well, but maybe I might put that as a title, see how we go. Back with more information or a bit more progress, I suppose. It's turning into the Mazak mission again. It seems I don't have too much luck with CNC lathes anyway. D&N Solutions mission doesn't really have the ring to it as much as a Mazak mission, but it's turning out that way. It took me a little while to get the machine commissioned. Got prior to Christmas, waiting for tech to come out, which finished up being after Christmas, and even then it was tight with, as you know, with Christmas holidays and everything, how people's timelines work. Finally got it commissioned. Pretty much had to let it sit there because I just didn't have time to do any work on it. I did talk about a coolant tank, which I'll take you out and show you now, and we'll talk a bit about why things are holding me up. So I've made up this stainless steel track. I'm still mucking around with it at the moment, just sort of jump in the middle of it and just got to bolt it into place now as I've got a gap in between doing jobs. Well, yes I have and I haven't, but I'm going to make it happen anyway, but just want to get it going because I'm under the pump to get a lot of turning work done, and this machine is just sitting here for months now, not running. So what I've done is I made the stainless steel frame, or track I suppose you could say, with nylon guides on top. And I'll take you over and show you the actual tank. When I say tank, I should say more so tray, just a way of talking. I suppose it is a tank in a way. It basically sits in where the conveyor should be. I did talk about that in the first video, or the last video I should say, not first video, the first video of having this machine. So I got this folded up by a customer of mine, and I just had to do the welding on it, so it was not too bad. Just to have time to be able to get in there, measure it all up, and draw it up, and then finally get it back. It took a couple of weeks to get it laser cut and folded, and then I think it took about another 2 weeks for me to get time to actually weld it. Only just got some paint on it last night, just to mainly stop it from rusting on the outside. It's only mild steel. I'm planning on it being temporary. It'd be nice to be able to put the chip conveyor onto this machine one day, but I don't know if that's going to happen. That'll be actually another workshop. It won't happen in the current workshop that I'm in. I don't have enough room. As most of you know, I think I've said before, I just work from home, so I'm a bit limited for space. And the tray is finally done, ready to slide in, just a bit of tweaking to do, as I've just shown you, not bolted into place pretty much straight after this video is done. I'll get that screwed into place, get this tray slid in, and finally start to use it. As I'll just go over and show you a bit more of what sort of drums. I'll talk about some of the drums for those who might be interested in why it's taken so long. But just got a tray basically, I suppose. As I say, it simulates the conveyor, but obviously it doesn't feed out like a conveyor. So it'll catch the chips. I've got a stainless steel screen in there to drain the coolant back, because obviously the coolant will land in here as well. So I was planning on putting it in there and shooting the video. I might show a little bit further. If I get another chance, I might put the camera inside the machine and have a look. But you can probably get the grasp of it anyway. There's a chip conveyor sits in the bottom of the machine, so when the machine's running, it catches the chips and takes it out to the end of the machine and drops it into a bin. But obviously I'm going to have to do it the hard way. I'm going to have to either fish the metal out through the door or just basically slide it out. That's the idea. Put that nylon on top of that stainless steel rail. So I've made that up. Just a lot of dicking around, measuring things and making things work. What you think's going to work doesn't always work. So there's a lot of tweaking and modifying, and even had to modify the tank. I had to cut 10 off the top of the tank because it finished up being too tall. So there was a fair bit of stuffing around just to get it dialed in right at the end that's going to work, well, semi-permanent. I'm not planning on it being permanent, but it might be. So I can slide that in and out fairly easily on that rail, as I say, with the nylon on top. So that's going to be good to have that going. Just take you over a bit more of a look at the machine, and maybe even show you some of the things I may be planning on running through it and other jobs that I'm doing as well. I'm probably making it as clear as mud to explain it to for those who aren't familiar. Obviously that'll get pushed back in underneath the machine. It sits in through that space, so you press it in through that hole. Be easy to push it back in, but I'm ready just to finish it off now. So it'll sit down in this area here, which the chip conveyor would normally be. I know some of you are probably familiar with CNC lathes, how it works. You have an incline conveyor running up, and it takes the chips out to the bin, as I just mentioned. But it's just a lot of things that were mucking around with height wires and guards and things like that were just being a bit of a pain. So just a matter of tweaking it and getting it so it's going to work, and and not cause any problems, be able to slide it in and out and so forth. So the other drama I ran into because when I first got the machine, temp air and power was on for the commissioning. I left it sitting there until I got time to come back to it again and put the air line down through the roof. So I got a conduit, got my finger on the camera. There's a conduit, you can probably see over there, just where my hand was, coming down from the roof, coming in. So the electrical comes through there, and I finally got a chance to get up there and run the air line. So I've got a permanent air on now, not the hose running across the floor. And when I switched the machine on, it came up with a couple of alarms on it. So that took probably close to I won't say 2 weeks, but it probably is close to that by the time we got someone actually out here available to, because they're pretty busy. They've got one main tech guy and they've sort of got a secondary guy that the secondary guy sort of switched on and not, but I finished up sort of like having more of an idea than what he did, so that's sort of how clued up he was on it. But he's more on the mechanical than the electrical, but I think they just sent him out just to help me out, so I'm not going to complain. But I had to go through the warranty side of it, so get the tech out. I'll probably repeat myself. My things that I'm saying, I don't edit videos, so I've got a bad habit of repeating myself. Otherwise, I'm pretty much ready to go. But really dying to get this going, to start actually, be able to make some parts on it. Just sitting here for a few months now and just been busy and haven't even had time to even make that rail. This rail setup, as I say, made that out of stainless with the nylon and everything. So it's it's a nice unit. So I didn't want to make it too temporary. So as I say, the tray will slide in and out on there, so it just fits in and out. It goes in and out nicely now, so a fair bit of extra stuffing around, trimming bits and modifying and welding bits on and packing things up and so forth. So it's not really made to have a chip tray in, it's meant to have a chip conveyor in, so we're just going to make it work. I'll just take you over and show you. I won't show you probably too much of things that I make, because it gets a bit funny with, I notice with social media, I don't post a lot of stuff on my social media, but it's surprising how many people see stuff. And you're thinking one in 100,000 might see things that I make, maybe, on social media. And I've had actually, I say customers, because they're not my customers, but the people I sell my parts to, and then they sell it on to their customers, actually contacting me directly to try and buy the parts from me. Well, I thought, no, I can't do that. And in a couple of cases, not more than once, near getting into an argument trying to explain to the guy why I can't sell it to him direct, what's the big deal, and so on and so on. But it's just hard you try to be nice to people, but you don't seem to be able to get through to them why that needs to work. I think most people understand the whole system of wholesale retail, so I don't know why I get that the guy, I'm trying to put it into words, I get that everyone wants to save money. I get that, but there's limits to things, and when you get told no, it generally means no. And I said no about 5 times, and it just didn't really seem to get through to it. And we're not talking rocket parts, for a rocket ship or something. So, $1,000 parts where he's he might be saving $100 if he buys it from me directly. We're talking, I don't know what my customer sells it for, and that's none of my business anyway. But and pretty much arguing with me why I couldn't sell it to him directly, why I need to buy it from him, and why can't I buy it from you? And I think, well, that's the whole point of it. It's like, I'm a manufacturer, I'm not a retailer. Just trying to say it in a nice way to him, but just trying to be nice to people, but still trying to get through to him. It's just, I don't know, trying to be nice, but trying to get the story across to the guy. He just didn't. He was. As the saying goes, there's a difference between listening and hearing, and he was definitely listening, but he couldn't hear what I was saying. So, but anyway, nothing to complain about. I was going to say customers, but he's not a customer. He's just someone trying to deviate around, trying to buy the part from my customer. So I won't show you too much of what I make or plan to make on this machine, because some of that is, as it is OEM parts or equipment manufacturer. So I can't show you too much, because I'm probably going to get people contact me through YouTube to try and buy parts off from me. I didn't think they'd find me through Instagram, and they did. So anyway, enough of the yabbering. Just a bit of an update to show you what I was doing. More so the chip tray, because I did bang on a bit about that at the start, and still am. So we're pretty close to getting going. Still currently have alarms on the machine. They're going to come back to me. The guy was just here this morning, so I'm right on the edge of getting it done. not sort of happy about the machine still having the alarms on there. They're supposed to come back to me, and the machine will run with the alarms on it. Something about the access batteries or something or other, but it's a brand new machine, so I'm yet to hear back from them. So we'll see what happens there. Hopefully the machine's ready to go when I press the little green button. But I'll be jumping up and down again if that doesn't happen. So I haven't put any parts through it as yet. Still waiting for the chip tray, and I'm still talking to you guys. But anyway, what I'll show you is a couple of jobs. One's already gone out because it was an urgent one. It wasn't much anyway. It was a weld on a subframe for a bike. But I'll take you out and show on my workbench at the moment some of the stuff that I do get in that isn't customer stuff or my customers' stuff, I suppose you could say. I mention this because there's things that I'd like to show you on my channel, but there's sort of like limited things that I could show you. As I say, with that's why I was banging on about that story about customers wanting to, well, my customers trying to buy things directly from me, to explain why I can't show much on of what I make, which is a bit of a pain, because there's things I'd like to show you, but actually I can't show you making anything. It's just I got repair work, but these jobs are sort of going to come in and go out again. So I have simple type jobs. So this is a part of a jet ski. I've just got to bore this out, face it off inside. A great job for a video, but when I get time to do the job, I just got to get it done and get it done. I don't really have time to turn it into a video and then possibly edit it, because I'll probably stuff it up. And the time frame just to get the job done is enough without spending another hour making a video out of it. And with me not editing at the moment, I usually have to shoot the video 3 times, so that you spend an hour dicking around, and I could have already done the job without doing the video. Ducati, however you want to spell it. Some people say Ducati, but they start with a D, so we'll call them Ducatis. The guys brought this in. A little bit of a pain, well, I can't say pain job, it happens. The guy's broken off the studs, which is apparently a common thing with these. Just trying to get this up. But what he's done was he's done the right thing. He's taken over to someone, he's had someone EDM'd, if you know what that is, electronic discharge machine. So they've put a hex in there so you could just undo the balance of what was broken off in there. So he's got 2 studs he's got obviously 2-cylinder, one to the front, one to the top. You might mostly not be familiar with the Ducatis. I can't remember the year of this one, but they're fairly common in that sort of configuration. Get back to what I'm talking about. So these 2 threads are good. This one's still got the actual, I don't know if you can sort of see the hex in there, trying to get it in there as best as I can. I think you can make out the hex. So that's been EDM'd in there, and the idea was he was supposed to wind that up with an Allen key. So he did that over here, and he broke off the Allen key in there. So I've got to get I don't know how tight that is, because I haven't had time to even start on this job. I've just been so busy, and he's hounding me about getting it back, which is understandable. I did tell him it'll be weeks, not days, before it'll get done to get time. So if you want to leave it, you're welcome, but don't expect it back in days. It'll be weeks before I get time. So I've got to get that out. Great for a video, I suppose, but yeah, stuff like that would be good. Another one is a Buell, which is an offshoot sort of Harley, I suppose you could say. They use the Harley engines and most of you might know, most of you know, people who are into bikes will know Buell, the brand, which is pretty much finished now as far as I know anyway. Clutch throw-out mechanism, bit of an average design, so it's just had the piece. Why I'm showing you, so I don't know, but it's because I can't show you jobs. So, so basically, what's happened is there's that word basically. So what's happened is, if I get around the right way. So what's happened is that's broken off there, and the other one on the other side is cracked to around about here. So what I've got to do is, rather than trying to weld that back on, which is pretty near impossible to weld that back on with AC, it's aluminium, and most of you might know. I'm just going to build this area up here. And the same on the other side, I'm not going to obviously take that piece off, and I'm just going to add more around the other side to thicken it up, and then remachine it, so you're going to have extra material around it. So they're the sort of stuff I get in. These jobs are good and bad. They do waste a bit of time, and they're more, you obviously get paid for them, but the money's just not there, to be honest. In repair work, you consume so much time. You spend 3 hours on something and you get an hour and a half with the money. So it's more of an interest than it is to making money. So if you ever think about getting into welding repairs and things like that, I'd probably find something else to do, unless you can get into mining work or something like that, and then you can charge whatever you want. But these sort of jobs are more so of a, as I say, you make money out of them, but they're not a money maker, like per hour rate. You'd probably make more money going to work for somebody. So it's something that took me a while to learn. I like doing this type of work, but the reality is the money's just not there for the amount of time that you get involved in it, because no one's going to want to pay more to repair it than what is to replace it. So you've got to be on that balance point of repair versus replace. So another one I've worked on, and I've still got to chase the customer up because I've made 2 for him and he's only grabbed 1 for me, so I don't know what's happening there. He's gone cold at the moment, but I'll chase him up soon. He asked me to make 2 of these skegs for an outboard boat. It's actually, of all things, for a hydroplane, so he's added a bit of a wow factor to that one. So all 316, they've got these laser cut and just machine this area away here. You can see that sort of area is machined down to that. That's the leading edge. Obviously TIG welded. This is made out of solid bar, so I had to bore right through. So that was about 12 times diameter to be able to bore that through. I had to bore, so it's a 38mm OD material, 1.5 inch, with a 29mm through hole, right through the hole, like through solid bar. So that was fun. I had 2 of those to do, and these plates that I've made up for the same thing. So these actually mount up here to bolt it to the boat. So you can imagine that's the bottom of the boat there. Okay, so that's your skeg with your, for those not familiar, I should explain better. That's your prop shaft going up. That's obviously going up to the motor, and that's out to, obviously out to your prop. So these are the plates to mount it into the boat. So stuff like that I do, you know. And this is another job. Unless you're going to make 10 of them, then you do lose a bit of money. As I say, you make money, but you're not hitting the hourly rate that you would expect to get for doing jobs like this. They work okay hourly rate if you could make 10 of them, or even 10 sets of them, you know, 5 of left and 5 of right. So obviously there's 1 for each side, just so I bring the other one over just so it makes a bit more sense. So you can see the amount of machining in there. You know, that's all from solid material, obviously. You know, aluminium, 6061 aluminium. So there's a fair bit of machining in there. So, and the information's fed to me slowly, so what I've got to do and everything, and the measurement, it's given me a sample, but the sample wasn't much, let's say the sample wasn't complete. So of what I was making, I had to modify it a bit from what he showed me. So I managed to get there in the end. So you do dick around wasting a bit of time, getting things dialed in and backwards and forwards of communications, holes, hole centers, hole sizes, things like that. You just waste time, and it just drags on and drags on. And I think that's why he's gone quiet, because it took me so long to get 1 of them, well, 2 of them made. I made a pair of them, and he's taken 1 away that he needed, and he asked me to make 2, but this has been sitting here for a month. I thought, well, I'll leave it till the end of the month. If he hasn't contacted me by then, I'll get back to him and say, what do you want to do with this? Because if you don't want it, I'll sell it. So that might prompt him to get up here and get it before I sell it on him. But of course I wouldn't do that. But it's a bit annoying when he asks me to make 2 and then he just leaves 1 here, he goes quiet. He's just that customer. He comes and goes from time to time, and he's a nice enough guy, but you sort of get stuck for stuff like that sometimes. Those private customers, they're the things you deal with when you've got private customers. As much as it's great to have those jobs, they do get a bit of a nuisance, and money's always a bit tighter with private customers. Although he is a business as per se. He does he builds the V8 motors for the boats, the Chevs, mostly Chevs. Mostly you've sort of seen them with the superchargers and things on them. That's why the hydroplane type thing. So that's why I mentioned the word hydroplane. Plus it makes it a bit more exciting than what it really is. But to me, it's just a boat with a prop on it. So, but stuff like that, you know, they're good jobs, but these sort of jobs just eat up time, and then not having the CNC lathe going, stuff like this just sort of, honestly, pisses you off, because you know, I waste a lot of time doing stuff like jobs like this, and I've still got jobs that should take 1 day. I'm taking 4 days to do them on the manual lathe, and that's without an exaggeration. So, but one job I can show you anyway, even though it is a customer part, but I'll just grab it up and just show you one part that I do make, just to finish off the video. These are the handles that I make, nothing too big deal about them, anyone can make them really, but obviously people who need them don't make Acme threaded handles. They just, they need the part. So as I said, I've had these on my social media. I actually took them off because, especially after that second time with the guy arguing with me about that. As I say, the only reason it's worth mentioning is because as much as I'd love to show you more of what I do, I get into sticky points like that, and the other reality is not just customers, or customers of customers. I also just gets difficult to have time because I'm a shop. I'm not a YouTube channel as per se. I don't make money from YouTube, so the time that I spend on YouTube is money I'm not getting paid for. And with the way things have been running lately, I'm just really under the pump to get stuff done. So that's why there's a bit of a lapse in between videos. And since the DN Solutions Doosan CNC lathes turned up, even that's taken a few months to get resolved. So I'm not having any luck. So once that's running, I can breathe a little bit and we can start to get back to doing more videos. I'm not too sure what that will be. I've got some ideas, but that's about all I've got at the moment. And I'll just post them, and you guys like them, you like them. Then if you don't, well, that's okay. We'll just keep going until I think of something else. So, but otherwise, that'll probably do for this video. As I say, I'll just show you those couple of things anyway, those jobs that have come in and some of the stuff that I get up to. It's just, I do talk about wanting to show you jobs, and the Mazak was sort of interesting and not for some people. So there was some things going on there, and I haven't really shown you anything recently that I'm doing, and I'm probably not anyway, but they're just some of the things that I do get busy with, jobs like that. And I'll get back and get this tray in and actually fire that machine up and finally have it running for a reason now, rather than just walking past and looking at it and thinking, wouldn't it be nice to have a CNC lathe? So anyway, that will sign off on that one, and I look forward to seeing you guys on the next one. Whatever that'll be, I have no idea. Apologies for the long video. Hopefully you made it to the end. Try not to make the next video too long, me talking too much. Thanks for you guys for watching. Always appreciate any one of you guys always just sticking in there and following along on my videos. Much appreciated. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Okay, bye bye for now.